Hey, what's up, Stringlings? We're back. We're going to be looking at a new guitar today, one that I have been waiting for quite some time. It is the Donner DLP-124. Let's check it out. So as you know, I've played a lot of Donner instruments on the channel. I've got two of their HSS Strats left in my collection. They're thin line. I've got this metal guitar, and I'm just really excited because I've been waiting a long time to get my hands on this one, and it's sort of their take on a Les Paul, but it's not the Les Paul that you'd expect from a Gibson with the four controls and all that. It's actually a take on an Epiphone Les Paul Special 2, I think. And you can tell because actually I'll put up the image of this one next to the Epiphone, and you can tell the finish is very similar, the control configuration is very similar. They're virtually identical instruments, except that I got this one. Well, I didn't get this one, they sent me this one, but this one was available on Amazon for Black Friday at $180 Canadian, which is insane. It's usually just under $250. Very sturdy entry-level instrument. I'm just going to break down a little bit. It's a little bit fingerprinty, and they do show that a bit. I'm just going to break it down. It does have, obviously, two humbuckers. Nothing out of the ordinary. Very reflective, very shiny finish. The finish is excellent, by the way. There's hardly any, I can't find any flaws in the finish. The humbuckers on here, they're advertised as sort of medium output. They're a vintage toned humbucker. They're not a high output humbucker by any stretch, but they're really nice sounding pickups, and we're going to obviously do the playthrough. The one thing that I noticed on this one, the switch plate, the switch cover here, it has the rhythm and treble indications like you would normally see on a Les Paul, but the switch is aligned kind of diagonally to them, so it's not precise. They could have put the switch in the right direction or the plate in the right direction. I don't know if Epiphone does that, but to me it's just weird. I don't even know why you need this thing on here. Everybody by now, I hope, has figured out how a three-way switch works. It does have the sort of smaller, let's see if you can see in the camera here, sort of smaller witch's hat control knobs. And the construction, people always ask about the construction. The neck is okoume, which is very similar to mahogany. I have it on a couple of guitars. They use it on imports a lot. I think it's probably a little bit less expensive, but it's a really nice wood. It plays really nice. It's a very smooth neck, very light finish on it. The body is poplar, which is an interesting choice, but I'm seeing a lot more poplar. Again, it's a less expensive wood, but it's light, it's rock hard, and it sounds fine. Sounds just great. I don't actually have any problem with poplar guitars. It's a great painting wood. It's interesting that they used a clear finish on the poplar because it tends to lean a little bit green in terms of color, so it's hard to stain. That's why a lot of cabinet builders, for example, use poplar as a painting wood as opposed to something for a nice wood grain finish. But as you can see, it doesn't seem to have done any significant damage. This is a streak in the wood itself. Which is, to me, that's just character. The fretboard is laurel, it's not rosewood. Again, it does something similar to rosewood, and it is a bound neck, so they've done a pretty good job of getting the fretwork done on this. So that's kind of the breakdown of it. I haven't done any setup on this instrument, but we're going to go and play it, and then we'll come back and discuss a little bit more about some of the playability of it. Okay, we are set up, ready to rock with the DLP, and I'm using a bunch of ML Sound Lab amps today. We're going to start off with just a nice, clean Fender Twin style amp from ML Sound Lab. This is their Gemini amp, and it's just as clean as it can be. That's on the bridge pickup. Here's the neck pickup. And both pickups just for good measure, which I really like the sound of on a clean amp on this guitar. I think it sounds really great. Normally, I don't like being down the middle with two humbuckers, but on this guitar, it actually plays really nicely. Great sounding guitar. That's just pure clean on the Gemini. We're going to arm the VX30, which is their take on an AC30. I've got just a little bit of drive tone on here for kind of a classic rock sound, and I think that works really well on this particular guitar. It's got that great AC30 kind of sound. It's got a lot of snarl to it. You know, it's not overly hot, but it's just kind of hot enough. So we're just going to thicken up the tone a little bit. I'm going to go back to one of my kind of standard rigs. It's the Humble from ML Sound Lab, which is their take on a Dumble amp. And we're doing this with a clean tone with just a little bit of ambience to it to thicken it up a little bit. And I think these pickups on here, they're sort of a mid-range output. They're not a high output pickup, sort of a vintagey sound, and I think they sound great. Sounds really good, right? The same amp, they've given us a lot fatter kind of distortion sound for just a really nice heavy grunt. You know, just a really thick, beefy kind of bottom end distortion. One of the newer amps from ML Sound Lab is the Oracle, which is their take on an orange. And it's just got that really great kind of classic rock, kind of British sound. You know, I was going to avoid doing a lot of metal stuff with this guitar because I think it's a really good vintage style instrument. But it has that classic hard rock sound, right? But overall, I have to say probably my favorite is this kind of slightly ambient Dumble tone. I think it's just great. Even on the two pickups. Just a really great sounding guitar. Let's go wrap it up. Okay, so that's what the guitar sounds like, and as you can hear, it sounds fine. The amps obviously did a lot of the heavy lifting. ML Sound Lab makes great amps. They just do. And these are VST plugins, of course. I'm using Reaper. But the guitar plays great. I played it on my live amps upstairs and in the studio, and it sounds great, plays great. So just wanted to go over some of the kind of detail work on it a little bit. Now, out of the box, the strings were not stretched, so it was having a hard time staying in tune. It wasn't set up, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close to set up. They did set it up with a very low action, which I don't mind. It's actually something that I like. But the strings, again, they weren't stretched, so it had a little bit of a hard time staying in tune. I had to give them a stretch and a tune, and I'm kind of still working on that a little bit because they're very new strings. And the only other thing that really stood out to me is how thick the neck is. It's very much a C-shaped, kind of a Les Paul feeling neck, in like more of an older style Les Paul, but at the same time, It's got a 12-inch radius on the fretboard, so a very flat fretboard with kind of a beefy neck. So it's a little bit of a curve, I guess, if you don't mind the pun, just to kind of get used to playing it. But again, it plays well. It sounds great. The pickups are great. I think it's a great rhythm instrument. And in fact, I'm going to go you one better, and I'm going to play you this guitar in a full mix. Let's check that out. All right, what did you think of that? Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of the mix. You can even let me know what you think of my playing. I don't care. I just wanted to get something a little bit creative, and I do have to give credit to, where is it here? I do have to give credit for the drum track to this. This is the Moore Groove Loop X2. That's what was providing the drum tracks for that. So very cool little looper and drum machine. I'll put the link down in the description as well for this one, because it's really great for just jamming, obviously, and get some really great kind of on-the-fly drum tracks. But yeah, let me know what you think of that. I enjoyed playing that a lot. I think I was able to get a lot of good sounds from the instrument, good sounds from the amp, and overall, I'm really pleased with this guitar. Is this Donner's top of the line instrument? No, not by a long shot. They have a couple that are much better than this. And I'm going to do a breakdown on my 3 favorite guitars from Donner in an upcoming episode, so keep an eye out for that. In the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this demo. I hope you got something out of it, and I hope you got some insight into it. Would I recommend this guitar? Absolutely. I think especially if you're a beginner or intermediate player and you want to get into the Les Paul variety of body style, this is a good place to jump in. Even if you're looking at like a rank beginner, this is really nice. For a professional, you could do a little bit better, but honestly, construction-wise and playing-wise, it's just fine. It works just fine. I'm probably going to use this quite a bit for some of those kind of classic rock bluesy kind of things. Yeah, I enjoyed playing it. So again, the links are down in the description below. And if you enjoyed this video, please make sure that you give it a like, give it a thumbs up, and make sure that you subscribe to the channel. And yeah, I will see you again really, really soon.